Do we become a data source and not a destination? How important is it that our website function? I mean, what do they need to think about, in your opinion, and what should they be doing today about it?
First and foremost, you have to figure out whether or not your customer base will have a tendency to shop this way. Some amount of your customer base will have a tendency to shop this way. Is it worth the investment to retain that? And is it worth the investment to gain your competition's same population that will shop this way as a result? The answer feels like a yes to me, probably in all situations. So I think users of AI platforms are going to end up shifting their brand habits as a result of the convenience and the discovery that's done there. I just don't know the percentage that are going to be doing that. I just know there's going to be some. And if you don't innovate towards that as a brand, then you're going to miss that population. Maybe you're okay with that, but to me, I would think you would want that.
Well, and maybe if I were a retailer today and I was thinking about this, a good starting point would be find out if you're already showing up in AI results and figure out how you start showing up in AI results because you need that for search anyway. And it's still a small percentage. It feels like everybody's searching with chatbots. It's not true. If you look at the data, it's a very small number. It's something like maybe 10%. Google still owns the search. Now, they're using their own chatbot or their own AI to try to prevent that, and you're getting fewer click-throughs, and the data is there to support that. But the first step in that is figure out if you're even showing up in the AI results. And there are ways, there are documented ways to make sure your products are ending up there so that you start showing up in those results. That would be a good short-term strategy because it's going to help you right now just from a search standpoint and the searching, not even the shopping, but it probably will get you moving in that direction and adapting to that so that when the shopping does take off, they're ready. And the problem is going to be right now, it's fairly splintered, I think. I don't know what kind of percentage of the market ChatGPT has versus everybody else, but it's going to be, flash forward 10 years. It's going to be a lot like, Google owns search still today, even with Microsoft and, Bing is still like what, 4% of searches after how many years and how many millions or billions of dollars invested. So there is some advantage of being that early mover and which ones are going to shake out, which ones are going to go by the wayside and not get used, interesting. One thing that the Wall Street Journal article did say that optimizing for web search and for the way AI does searching is still beneficial to retailers because right now the way it is using it is highly ranked web pages, which include paid. This is a quote from Wall Street Journal article. Highly ranked pages, including paid ads and sponsored posts on search, can make content more likely to appear on Operator. That's OpenAI's shopping bot. The company said, noting that the model still heavily considers a user's prompt and prior behavior and preferences. So doing the things to show up in chat in the search still help you show up on the AI as well.
I'll tell you the most interesting thing I heard in there is that paid search is part of that result. It's not just the organic search effort that is the classic method for you to win a search term, right? Like when you're thinking about how to improve your website and how to optimize for search, it's not throw dollars at it. That's not, no one talks about that. You just throw dollars at it. But now if you're telling me that you need to rank well on paid search as well, it's just whoever's at the top. It changes the game. That literally just makes it a game for dollars. I mean, Google's the biggest winner here.
True. And in a shopping world, there may be a logic to it that says the most, because they probably want to send buyers to the most trusted retailers. And the most trusted ones are the ones that can afford the advertising to show up in the listings, right? Because that would be think about that. And that's one of the things. That's why I typically start at Amazon for anything because I trust Amazon. I trust them to if they miss deadlines, they go really bad. but it's such a rare occasion that I trust it more than I trust buying direct from a company or buying direct, or through other smaller retailers. So there may be some of that baked into it where they're trying to get you the most reputable retailer, and one way to do that is pay to play. The retailers that can afford to show up in the search results are going to be your more established retailers. Could be their logic. I don't know if that's true.
It all comes down to dollars, where it's just who can afford to pay. Just like you said, I mean, it's pay to play. It's a little unfortunate for small businesses, but hey, it's why you should be shopping local.
Yeah, whole other topic. So let's wrap it up by prediction. When will at least 10% of your purchases will you be doing via chatbot?
10%? Oh, I mean, I guess part of this prediction is figuring out when it's live and functioning nicely. So I would say the fact that images and image processing happen in ChatGPT so quickly gives me a little bit of confidence that by Black Friday it'll be functional this year. And then I'm probably doing recurring purchases in ChatGPT 10%. Let's go with 1 year from today. I think the better question though is the general population. When is 10% of our general population going to shop on ChatGPT? I think that's the bigger
And when do you
question.
think that is?
I guess that I would probably throw that in a 5 year plan. I think it's going to take longer adoption, but it's going to have more to do with the AI population.
Back to the 10%, is it 10% of shoppers shopping with chat GPT or a bot, or is it 10% of purchases? Because 10% of purchases, I think, could be a decade or more. Because think about it, only 20% of purchases happen online today. After how long have we been shopping online? I've been shopping online for 20, 30 years.
I would say I kind of the spirit of my answer, the 5 year plan, is to say 10% of online revenue is probably the way I kind of intended that.
Yeah, I think that's aggressive. On a personal note, I don't know that I'll ever shop with the bot. I got to be honest, unless is such a remarkably better experience and allows me to customize it in the way I shop, and saves me time. And I'm not saying that's impossible, but
So I'll tell you why I'm a early adopter by thought. I have on my phone, it's this app called Minimalist Phone. It's a theme that literally turns it into a black and white experience. Like the whole thing, this is the whole experience right here. If I swipe over, those are all my apps. That's it. That's the whole experience. So I like that. I like not having all of the extra frills. And every time I go to any website, I get all of the extra frills now. Because there's some product manager that is justified that this helps conversion rate. And I don't want all that. I just want to focus on my goal and my goal alone. And ChatGPT will absolutely help me do that. No doubt about it. Even look at the experience. It's almost identically, visually speaking, the same thing. It's basically the ability to type with the keyboard what I want to achieve, and it's going to give me the result. That is what I like, and that is what I am going to be in for when they make it nice. The question is whether or not that experience gets me to the right product. And when I go with an obscure result where I'm trying to discover, like the watch example, it's probably not for me. That is where I'm going to probably look at 8 million results, just like what you said. But when it's something that is just more basic, like the tiki torches, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what I tried to do, but I had all of these recommendation products. By the way, Amazon clearly thinks I'm a woman with the recommendations. I have no idea why, but probably because I buy things for my wife all the time. I guess that's probably the fair why, but it clearly thinks I'm her, and it doesn't ever get it right. It also thinks I play baseball, which I used to, but I don't anymore. So it's like there's all these like adapting things and all these experiences that get just lumped into this that I just don't care to see when I want to buy tiki torches. Just let me search for a tiki torch, show me the one product that is most relevant, and that's what ChatGPT is going to give me. That's why I'm excited about it.
that's why your style makes you a good early adopter of such a product, and why my style makes me a laggard in adopting that product, because we just shop completely different. Like that phone, I would never do that on my phone. That would make the phone so boring. And if you're just listening to this, he literally has a black screen with words. I mean, it's almost like having a DOS prompt for your phone.
DOS prompt.
That's what it looks like. It looks like you're on a terminal, but it's your phone. It's your smartphone.
Hey, highly recommend it. Highly recommend. If I'm clicking an app, it's because I'm very deliberately wanting to find that app. It's not because they sent me a notification that said, "Remember me, please." I don't want to click your notification that says, "Remember me, please," or it's bouncing the little bouncing icons that I don't know if iPhones still do that, but I can't stand that stuff. But the little icon that makes sure that you look at the app that says like, "Hey, look at me." Oh, I can't stand that stuff.
I will say on my Apple Watch, I can't remember what those tiny little icons all mean. They're so small. So I went from, I had the icons and I spent one day trying to find I was trying to find like my iPad or something. I couldn't figure it out. I finally had to switch it back to the names. Maybe the form factor matters.
This conversation is just a good example of the result of all products just tends to be least common denominator. But at least I had the ability to deviate my phone and go to the minimalist. I can't even do that on iPhone. I guess that's why I'm an Android user, huh?
Well, hopefully you took away something that you can take back to the office and start to think about how you adapt to this whole new generation of shoppers that are coming down the pike. Per Nick, they'll be called Generation AI. So
That's
it's
right.
time to start preparing now. But thanks for listening to this episode of the Frictionless Experience. And hey, you're why we do this, exploring that messy, weird, and exciting corners of digital transformation. If you want to get in touch with Nick or me, or you can always find us on LinkedIn. I am at Chuck Moxley, and Nick is
At In Palladino.